Welcome back everybody to another Moto Bob video, and last week BSA announced a new Bantam 350 which I think looks very cool indeed, and also it's at a really good price point. Question is though, is it actually any good to ride? Well, fortunately Tim went on the press launch to find out, and so in this video we'll go through all of the details, all the good and bad. We'll score it category by category, and then at the end tell you is this the mid-capacity retro that you should buy in 2025. Now mate, I think we have to kick off with the price, which really is very good. So let's have a little look at how it compares to some of the competition at $499 on the road. It's going to be hard to beat. Although that is just an introductory offer, they say. Is that right? Yes. Did they say how long that will run for? They didn't. But yeah, so your guess is as good as mine, but that is a really good price to start with. Yeah, it's less than the Royal Enfield Hunter 350, which I think you would say was previously one of the best value for money mid to small capacity retro S. That comes in at $899, and it's less than the Honda GB350, which is very comparable to both those bikes. A big seller this year, and that one comes in at $999. You could also consider the Triumph Speed 400 to be somewhat in the same ballpark, but it is, I think, as we go through this video, you'll find out more performance-orientated, a bit better spec, and so it's in a bit of a different price bracket as well at $245 for the cheapest one. I think you pay 100 quid more if you want a decent paint job. Great value for money. I think it's fair to say not much to add there. And I do like that they've built it as an introductory offer, because some manufacturers price their bikes lower at launch and then sneakily put the price up later, and they sort of make out in the first instance that it's actually the RRP. So I like that BSA have been sort of transparent here. So with that very important piece of context in mind, let's talk about the engine, which is a 350 single. In fact, I think it's a 334cc single, and it's liquid cooled. It's not particularly new, I should say. It's a new bike, but actually BSA are owned by Classic Legends, who are owned by Mahindra, and they also license the Jawa brand and make bikes for them in India. And they also produce bikes under the Yedzi brand. These are names that were not particularly familiar to you when I started rifling them off earlier. But yeah, if you look at some of the bikes on the YZI website, on the Jawa website as well, you'll see similar engine cases, similar specs. There might be a slight difference in capacity or something, but certainly the Yeti bikes anyway also make the same performance figures. Perhaps you could view that as a good thing, you know, it's not like a complete experiment. It's a proven engine, true, and in terms of performance it makes 29 horsepower peak and 29 Nm of peak torque, which, you know, if you consider the Enfield and the Honda to be the closest competitors, actually sounds pretty strong. Both of those make more like 20 horsepower peak. And I think they're a longer stroke design, so more targeted to low-end torque. Whereas this has a wider bore, a shorter stroke than those two bikes, and that helps it to rev out a little bit more and make more peak power. So, you know, 29 to 20 is a really significant improvement, but also the liquid cooling as well. It'll be happier at higher revs, and we should also say it's a 6-speed box in this bike, whereas the other two are 5 speeds. That's a lot of me, mate. You're the one who's ridden the bike. How does it feel out on the road? I'm really interested to find out. So yeah, all of that taken into account. It does have a lot of accessible torque and power low down in the rev range, because it does feel great pulling away in first gear. First, second, third around town feels really comfortable. And across the entire rev range, it feels pretty consistent, nice and strong, nice and powerful, especially for a bike of its size and capacity. Compared to the Enfields I've ridden, instantly it is obvious that it has more power, and it just feels like a more capable engine that you could take a little bit longer distances, do higher speeds. It is more powerful and ultimately just more fun to use as well. At 60 mph, comfortable, smooth, not buzzy. One of the other guys got up to 70 mph and it was fine. The 6-speed gearbox helps it feel more relaxed at speed. Anything bad, genuinely nothing stood out.